This episode is brought to you by Catholic Money Academy. Have you ever gotten to the end of the month and wondered, where did all my money go? Well, 2025 can be the year you put an end to that question for good. The year you take full control of your finances, feel confident with every dollar you spend, and not only have a plan, but results. All in this episode of the Catholic Money Show. We've been there.
Oh, have we been there?
We've done that.
We got the t-shirt
We bought the t-shirt
on a credit
with
card.
the credit card, yeah.
Early in our marriage, if you don't know the story, we were drowning financially. Things were not going well. We had a fight on our honeymoon even about money and decided that is not how we wanted to live our marriage, fighting about finances. Now, we didn't really know where to start. We began learning, and one of the first things was creating a budget. But that was just a word to us. We had never really done that. If you would have asked us, what does our money go to on any given month? We might have had a couple of ideas: rent, some groceries, maybe
A little bit of gas.
the cell phone. But we could not have given you a detailed analysis of that, nor how much we were spending or needed for any of those things.
No,
Totally flying blind. What did we spend our money on? It was just money in, money out. And we didn't really know there was a different way to live. Did you have a concept of that?
No, that's why we were in that spot, honey.
Paycheck to paycheck.
Because
was the
I
name of the
had
game.
no idea. Yes, paycheck to paycheck. If I had the money, I would spend it. If I didn't, I would probably still spend it.
Put it on a credit card or go into overdraft.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
That was, I knew no other way.
Sweating bullets as the bank
and it
balance
was-
inched closer to zero every month.
Oh,
only to be
every
safe,
week.
only to have like a, when the paycheck finally hit.
Yeah, but then I gotta go pay off the credit card, and then now it's even lower. It was so stress inducing. It's I look back and I'm thinking, oh, you poor guy.
Poor unfortunate soul.
Yes. What were you like? There was such a better way. You just don't know. I just want to reach back and just break that guy and wake him up. Because he was in a spot that he didn't need to be in. He just didn't know any better way.
And that really is just our culture leads you to that place. And we're not taught about what to do or how to handle money or how to manage it with peace or with virtue. And so that's the end result in our consumeristic society. And, all of the debt that millennials and other generations certainly, but millennials were kind of notorious for racking up the student loans, etc. Anyway, every month we would just wonder in those early months of our marriage, where did the thousands of dollars go? I know we made money. I know we had a paycheck, but where is it? We didn't have a
Because
lot
it's not in the bank
to
account
show
anymore.
for it at the end of the month. It was just a near empty bank account and a cornucopia of debt. If you can relate to that, this episode is for you.
Yes.
And we're not saying, any of this to make you feel bad. I hope it actually makes you feel encouraged and hopeful that, oh my, there was somebody in this exact situation and now they aren't. And those stories were what gave me hope in those early days, that if I could just persevere, and I knew I could at least persevere, if I could do that long enough with new habits, I wouldn't be in this situation anymore. And that's what we're going to share with you in today's episode. It was just no way to live.
Yeah.
And that's why I went on the hunt, if you will, to learn different skills, different strategies. And 2012 was that year of transformation for us, of reaching the same page and being financially unified. And we've really never looked back or wondered what our money was up to ever since.
Yeah.
Because that budget, we learned it, and we've been doing it every month ever since.
Yeah. So if you are just starting out, if you are maybe in this new year, kind of thinking, I'm gonna maybe take better care of my money this year, or wow, I need to get out of this mess. Where do I start? this is going to be really great. If you're coming into the year just, all right, I want to tighten things up a little bit, just make sure we're doing this the right way. This will also be great.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
you're going to go over those fundamental steps of knowing what's happening with the money that's been entrusted to you.
Yes.
So this is a great way to get started and just a great check to make sure that you're doing what you need to do.
Mhm.
So that's how it
This is
runs.
about good stewardship.
Yes, absolutely, which we are all called to no matter what amount of money we are asked to handle and to
Mhm.
manage. So we need to know what's going on with that money. This was so powerful for us to just sit down and know what you spent money on. Now you could go back through the bank statements and all that and figure out, oh, this is what I bought the toilet paper. This was the gas fill up. This was that. This was that. You could do it that way. Or you could start right now and now just write everything down as it's happening or keep track of everything in an app as it's happening. So you know, oh, like I remember, so I can remember, I guess, two categories. One, groceries. The first time we budgeted,
Terrible.
I think it was
It was $60
60
for
bucks.
the month. Should have been for the week.
And even back then, that wasn't enough money. So, yeah, so we had to figure that one out. And then also gas in the car. I remember thinking, we're putting gas in this thing all the time. And I never would have thought that was much of an expense in our life.
Mhm. Right. So the first thing you need to do is, yeah, build that financial awareness.
Mhm.
Where is your money actually going? And you can do kind of what Jonathan had recommended. I think sometimes people really do, like, they just want to see the hard facts. Print off the
Mhm.
last 30 to 90 days of your bank statement or your credit card statement or both and sit down and actually look at the facts.
Mhm.
Now, sometimes you can fall victim to what we like to call Amazoning, Walmarting, and Costcoing yourself to death.
Yeah.
And those will tell you spent $175 at whatever, but it doesn't tell you what you bought.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to do a deeper dive into going on Costco, and it'll show you your receipt and tell you what you bought. Or into Walmart, it'll tell you what your
Mhm.
account has purchased. And sometimes that can be helpful
Yeah.
because it's not always, you might have dog food in there with your groceries, etc. So, but you have to do that little bit of a deep dive in
Mhm.
figuring out what have you been spending it on. And then we didn't really do that when we created our first budget. I remember we downloaded YNAB, You Need a Budget, and you can get your free 34-day trial at walletwin.com/YNAB. We set it up. We put in terrible amounts that didn't really relate to reality. And we'll talk about that in a little bit here.
Yeah.
But we kind of just created general categories. And then as the month happened, every time we spent money or a transaction would automatically happen in our bank account, we'd have to create a new category. And it took probably
Mm.
30 to 60 days to figure that all out. And then, of course, there's still in that first year where 3 or 4 little incidences where an annual expense would come up and then it would send us reeling. But if you can get through the first 90 days of budgeting, almost 90% of your expenses you're going to have in a given year will have come up
Mm.
at some point, and you'll have figured out a category and a home for it in your budget.
Mhm.
The rest of that 10% of your budget, it'll happen over that course of the next 9 months. Because really, a full year of budgeting, now there's no more surprises. Now you really know there's nothing that's going to sneak up and get you.
Mm.
Uh, and that'll come out in your first year of budgeting. But most of it is going to be tackled in the first 90 days. So we use YNAB
Mhm.
and we encourage people to use that. But, the right budget is going to be the one you're going to actually use. So if it's Every Dollar, if it's Monarch Money, if it's a different app that you just love, fine. If it's a spreadsheet and both people, if you're married, are going to actually use it, go ahead, use that.
Mhm.
Jonathan has created amazing spreadsheets, but I would never use them because they weren't as user friendly 13 years ago. I'll say that. So if you created one now, it'd probably be pretty good. It'd be
Maybe.
usable, but
Maybe.
it might not still give me all the features I like in YNAB. We'll see. Or you can be pen and paper. create, a budget on paper or in a
Mhm.
notebook. These things are absolutely doable. You just have to know what your temperament is and your personality. If you want to be sitting there doing math, if you want it to be automatically synced up with your bank account, what is going to be the best budget for you is the budget you're going to use.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you create your categories and all those little expenses that are coming up that, if you didn't do the whole look behind to kind of figure out what expenses might be coming, you're creating categories.
Mhm.
Don't create them too small. Create them general enough though so that a couple things can go under it. So you're
Mhm.
not going to have a budget just for dog food and then dog washing and then dog kettling. You're just going to have pet.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a catch-all for the vet, for the dog food, the blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Um, so you're going to go ahead and do that, get those going. And then as you have built a little bit of that awareness, now you know, okay, where is this? Where's my money happening? Where's it flowing in, flowing out to? I would then start to mark different categories in your budget that are needs. These things have to happen every given month. And I'd highlight those. And then which ones are wants? And those, it's important to just know those two things, even if you don't change the amount of spending you're doing in either one of
Mm.
them. It's just really important to build that financial awareness around what actually is a need and what actually is a want. Because sometimes people can start feeling like they're a victim to their spending. But then if you dig into the weeds, half their spending is on things they don't really need at all. And if you could just, if they are in a pinch and they could eliminate a good bit of that, all of a sudden they've just bought a lot of freedom for themselves, a
Mhm.
lot more peace and a lot more bandwidth to do what they actually want to be doing. But it does take awareness to just stop and really step back a bit and assess, okay, is Chick-fil-A a need? Wait a minute. No, it's a want. And just to be clear about that so that if we do need to make decisions, we can have an easier time figuring out what needs to go to the chopping block or the reassessment block and which is staying in the budget no matter what.
Mhm. Yes, and this is vital for when you go into this next step of creating a budget, a realistic budget that takes into account your needs, your goals, the things you want to be doing with your money. So it should reflect your priorities. It should reflect your heart. So there should be giving, of course. And we list it at the top. I encourage you to list it at the top and for your generous giving to be the first category that you fund, right? We put it at the top because then, boom, we can just put in the amount we want to give. And now we know what we need have left for everything else. So that makes it a lot easier than, say, if you left it till the end. Oh, well, I found a way to spend it all before I even got there. Whoops. So it's just so much easier to just get it done right there at the top. But make sure that you're doing what you need to do. And then I would say those other needs, paying the mortgage, paying the water bill, those things like you just have to do, those should probably be next. Because if it's a choice between, say, Chick-fil-A and the mortgage, I want to pick the mortgage
Mhm.
instead of the Chick-fil-A, as delicious as it may be. So once you do that, then you can get into some of these, want categories. A want is not a bad thing.
No.
A want is not allowed. We just need to make sure that we are taking care of needs and we're taking care of progress towards goals, that we are making wise decisions with our money as we then enter into the wants that we have. So
Hmm.
when you're making your budget, again, the first couple are going to be terrible. You're going to forget a bunch of stuff. You're going to put things in the wrong place. You're not going to have the right amounts. Don't worry. It's going to work out.
Hmm.
It'll
You
shake it.
just have to
It'll shake itself
persevere.
out as you go along. Now, you might be tempted to say, "Oh, well, I heard, there's and it's all percentages, the 50, 20, 20, 10, the 70, 20, 10, the whatever it is. This much is for spending, this is much is for saving and investing or giving or this or it just doesn't work very well. Sure, there's maybe some guideline percentages that just help make sure you're not spending, say, 50% on your rent or mortgage. But you need to have a little bit more insight into your spending, into your budgeting, into your money than what just these really oversimplified giant categories can
Mhm.
provide. So we recommend you get a little bit more detailed in what you're doing instead of just a spend category.
Yeah. And when you bring up, you'll see it's really popular. It's popular on TikTok or Instagram. You'll see financial influencers coming out and telling you about, um, I came up with the percentages 50, 20, 20, 10 because it incorporates giving. Because none of
And
these
say,
models that you ever see, it's the 50, 40, 30, and they have
that's
0.
110.
Or okay, whatever it is.
But yeah, no, the and four numbers listed. I thought,
They
never
never
seen one before.
they never have giving as part of it, and that is just so that's one of the reasons I can't stand a lot of those models. But they'll generally say live off about a half of what you make, save, a certain percent, and then the rest can just go to discretionary whatever spending that you want to
Mm,
make. The reason I don't love that is if you've got to start somewhere and you're just one of those people that you just need the bumper rails laid out and you're just not going to do it, fine. Pick the numbers, do something. That's why I gave 50, 20, 20, 10. Go ahead, try to make that work. But really, rarely have we had a month where that kind of worked.
mm,
If we're in a season where we're really trying to pay off debt, well, we lowered kind of what we were spending on our everyday life and we
mm,
weren't maybe saving as much and spending on discretionary whatever. We were plowing, 40, 50% into paying off debt
mm,
or whatever aggressive goal we were going after. Or in the months where we've not had maybe something giant like that, what served us better is maybe ramping up savings a little bit more.
mm.
So I just don't think that they can get somebody off the runway, but they're not going to keep you in the sky, if you will. So I just
Wow.
think that they end up people can get locked into it and feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And then they start feeling guilty if their numbers are off or they're using something that just doesn't serve you. So if you must start somewhere, go ahead and use something like that. But at the end of the day, I really think that what you described first,
Mm,
giving, the needs, and then the wants, set your budget up. If it's tight, you start at the top and work your way down as far as you can go, budgeting out the money. A lot of the times you're going to be able to go into the some of the wants, even past all of your wants.
mm.
And then that excess money, the overflow, you're going to be able to pay off more towards debt or put more into savings or do something else like an extra date night or invest it more into your kid's giftedness. It's just a matter of making sure your budget is rightly prioritized,
Mhm.
essentially. And yeah, making sure that the wants are at the top and then row, I forgot to give
Yeah.
because that absolutely happens to a lot of people.
Mhm.
They got sucked into doing all the fun and then they didn't get to give, they didn't get to save, and now they're in jeopardy
Yeah.
financially.
And if you're hearing this and you're thinking, okay, giving, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I've got a lot of debt or I've got this goal or whatever it is. How do I figure out how much to give? Don't worry, we've got another episode coming soon
Mhm.
about that very topic. So we'll do a bit of a deep dive on that. Keep your eyes and ears open for that one. Make sure you are following, to get updates and all of that wherever you are watching or listening so that you know when that one comes out.
Let's talk about fun money. Speaking of having fun,
Speaking of fun money,
John's
fun
favorite budget
money.
category.
Yes, this is the money you get to just do whatever you like with. This is the Oreo on your diet. I'm going to have a little bit of discretionary spending over here so I don't go crazy and think my life is a big no and a list of never satisfied desires and wants. Now, you're not going to probably put $500 over there in the fun
Some
money.
people will try. I wouldn't recommend it.
No, in a real shark mode type of season, $5. I think that's what we did, right?
Well, inflation's happened now, so it's hard to say what you could even get for $5 anymore. Maybe
Couple things.
$10, but yeah, we kept it really, really reined in when we were
Yeah,
getting out of debt. We still aren't huge fun money people because we just
because one of us is a what person.
it's much higher than it used to be. But it's
Yes.
still I'm not one to just give us hundreds of dollars a month for
No, you're
things.
not.
I'm not. You might be.
No, I like going towards the goals and all that. But this is great because these are the things where, and this could alleviate some fights and some disagreements about money too in a relationship where, oh, you got to spend the money on that. Hey, it was in my agreed upon amount of fun money is what I just spent. There's no reason anybody to get upset about that now.
Mm, nope.
Because, yep, we're still right on track. We're making progress towards our goals, towards our plans. I didn't just go spend next week's groceries. Everything is still fine and safe, no matter whatever might come in the mail or walk in the door through a bag, whatever it is, it's taken care of because of the fun.
Yeah. So we're creating that budget that's really going to reflect your needs and your goals. And we're baking in things to protect some of that fun,
Mhm.
and especially important for some of the spenders that are out there. Not as much for the savers who end up just absorbing our fun money into other things in the budget
Mm.
because I don't like seeing that category grow. I don't
Or
have
you,
anything I'd want to
or you
spend it
just
on.
have ways of justifying
All the things I want in
desired
other
purchases into other categories.
that might maybe is my art.
There might be. Our sponsor today is Catholic Money Academy. If you love the Catholic Money Show, then I think you are really going to love what Amanda and I share inside Catholic Money Academy. That's where you'll find the Catholic Money course. And hey, when you join, you get one of these sweet workbooks for free. We'd love to have you inside. You've got the Catholic Money course. Every month, we're sharing something new, an idea to boost your income in our side hustle spotlights, a way to cut your expenses in our money saving minutes. We got expert interviews, all sorts of goodies in there. Members get discounts on a lot of our other items and products, and you get half off one-on-one coaching with me and Amanda. So please check it out. We've got some special things going on right now. Just head on over to CatholicMoneyAcademy.com. That's CatholicMoneyAcademy.com. I can't wait to welcome you as our newest member. That's CatholicMoneyAcademy.com.
Anyway, last thing would just be when you are creating your budget, something that we personally like to do is the money that we put into maybe debt payoff or into savings. I like to automate as much of that as possible and to pay our pay us our savings and pay our debt first. So when you're going into the month, if at our budget meeting we sat down and we said we're paying $1,500 towards debt, as soon as that money hits my bank account, this worked for us really well
Oh,
back in the
yeah.
day, even though it was hard. We sent the money
Huh?
because we can't. If
Once
you
it's gone,
keep
we
it
can't use it to go out to the movies.
exactly, if you keep that money in your account to just see what happens
In case we need it.
in case we need it, and then at the end of the month, there's no way you're sending $1,500. You're going to send maybe 1,200.
Maybe.
Something will happen. Something will happen. And that money will get whittled away at and reduced.
Huh.
And we do the same thing now with our savings. So if we're saving for adoption or for an RV, day one that money's in, it's gone into the savings account. It is no longer accessible in the checking account because I'm not going to have that be accidentally spent.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need to the budget will help you automate and protect some of those goals so you don't accidentally just spend yourself dry.
Absolutely.
All right. So you got the budget up and
So
running.
we figured out what's going on with the money.
Yeah.
Now
Where's it
we've
going?
made a plan to maybe spruce that up a little bit, tighten things up, get it to where I actually want it to go. And then, all right, well, how do we really refine that plan, make it better, make sure we don't get a little derailed on the way? Well,
Let's
there's
optimize this thing.
a couple tips here. One, just go through, cancel unused subscriptions or trials you signed up for and forgot about.
John, you have quite a hack for this. Do you want to go privacy?
Privacy.com. You can sign up, you link your bank account, and then you can use that to create a multitude of virtual card numbers. So you can sign up, um, and then you create a card, and that card gets locked to the particular merchant or store that it's first used on. So if you first use it on your Amazon account, it can only ever be used at Amazon. So if anything ever goes through with a different name on it, it just automatically gets declined. So this one is really helpful. This is the privacy part of it. If somebody gets hacked,
They don't
it
get your
doesn't
bank account
matter
information.
because they have this virtual card number. And if they
Burner
tried to
number.
use,
Yeah.
yeah, if they tried to do anything with it, it gets declined because
Mhm.
it wasn't at the right place.
Yep.
So that's fantastic. You can also set
Transaction limit.
spending limits.
Yeah.
So you can say, I want to only spend this much in a year or in a month or per transaction. So you're signing up for something you don't know if you like it or not. You could say, hey, transaction limit's going to be $1.
You have done this so many
Then,
times.
thankfully, then because you sign up for the year. They're having a great deal on Black Friday. So you sign up for a year for only $50 instead of the usual 600 or
Yeah.
whatever it is. So then you say, well, I only ever want to spend $50. Great. When it comes through next year, because you've forgotten, it doesn't go through. And then
Mhm.
you get a notification in the app, go, oh,
So you can
let me
either
go
go in
cancel that.
and
Or
cancel, or you
or
can
you can go,
up it.
oh yeah, you know what? We actually use that a lot. We love it. Let me go up the limit a little bit so this transaction can go through.
Mhm. We will link to privacy down in the show notes, but it's
Yes.
a really great best practice, and it really does help for those unused
Yeah.
subscriptions.
I think walletwin.com/privacy, right? And it's really easy to use and set up. I don't know why everybody doesn't use this thing.
Mhm.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Another thing to do to help optimize your
And it
budget,
costs $0.
right, is creating a little bit more of a buffer between when you feel an urge to buy something that's out of the ordinary, bigger ticket, etc. Creating a 24-hour rule before making an unplanned purchase to reduce and eliminate impulse buying.
Mm,
This is a challenge for some people who just they get an itch and they got to buy and they want it.
looking at me.
What? I'm not it happens to me
No,
too.
I know it.
Let's not
I know.
let's
I'm
not say
just
I'm not
joking. I'm just
subject,
joking.
but maybe you more.
I'm just joking.
But if you create this, you know, 8 times out of 10 maybe, you're going to within 24 hours you sleep on it, you get a little distance, all of a sudden, oh, you've cooled off and you
Mm-hmm.
see it in the light of day and now you realize, yeah, we don't really need that. Or I
Mm-hmm.
don't really want to go on that type of vacation
Yeah.
that I saw
Other
a deal on
other
or
things
whatever.
have happened in your life to cause your brain to squirt out a little dopamine, and so you're not anxious for the hit anymore.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, no, really.
You're okay not getting that thing right now.
Mhm.
Or
20% of the time, it's still a good idea.
yeah, or yeah, actually, yes, let's do this thing. And you can get it. Or maybe you found a better deal on it now.
Mhm.
Or
Right.
whatever or wow, I'm glad I didn't buy that camera when I really wanted to, because this one over here just is actually better now that I've done a little research. Things
Mhm.
like
Yeah, these are all real life examples of things we have used,
that.
or that's why this rule is a rule in our family. And we see the wisdom in it and the fruit that has come from it. It's really, really been good for us. So,
Mhm, mhm.
and it saves your budget.
Yep. Another way you can do is, of course, use cash or debit card to stay within the limits of the money you have, right? Credit cards, you can spend money you don't have, and that can get you into trouble. So if you really do want help, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many points you're going to get. None of those little extras are worth it. If that credit card is just going to make you spend more or
Mhm.
overspend a given category or amount. And now, like, it's not worth it. I don't care about the points or the percent back. You, I got 3% back, but I overspent 15%.
Yeah,
That's not
exactly.
good.
It's not good. Every layer we get away from cash, we spend more. I mean, they've done so many studies on this. And honestly, um, credit card companies have suppressed a lot of studies because they don't want the result hitting the light of day.
Mm,
But of the studies that have made it out there, yeah, we're spending a significant amount more when we're doing it on credit. Whether it's we're buying groceries, we're buying concert tickets, we're going to the store and buying clothes, we're buying shoes, we spend more every time we get a layer away from cash.
mm.
Now, I'm not a cash person. We've done a podcast episode on that. We don't carry cash.
Oh my
We're just not fans of it. So we know that we do pay a small percentage more because we prefer to use our debit card. I'm just okay with that knowledge because we still stay within our budget.
And it's just for us, it's so much easier
Yeah.
the debit card. And we're pretty good about making our plan, making our budget, knowing what we're going to spend, sticking to the plan, all
And
that.
not just blowing through the amount that we set
Yeah.
aside for it.
So all that, it's yeah, okay, maybe we spend I don't even know. Anyway,
Even if you do want to use a credit card, you do have to go in with that knowledge.
oh
The
yes,
$700 you
goodness.
set aside for groceries, just
Has to
know
stay that.
that,
It
but
can't
also
grow.
you're going to have less groceries to show for the 700 than if you had the debit card. And you're
Interesting.
going to have even less with the debit card than if you'd just done it cash. And if you're okay with that and you stay within the bounds, it's fine for you to use whatever you want. You do have to have that knowledge. All right, last but certainly not least, let's get into setting some clear financial goals and how
Ooh,
to actually track your progress.
yes,
So
please.
now that we've gained awareness of what our money's up to, created a budget, figured out how to optimize this thing, get it to become the money machine in our family that's going to help us manage our finances. Now it's time to just define some specific goals.
Mm,
What is that next best goal for you in 2025? Is it to save $5,000 for your month of money so you can break up with the paycheck to paycheck cycle? Is that it? Is it paying $10,000 off towards debt? Is it saving up $15,000 for that next new to you vehicle? I can't know that for you, but if you read if you're in part of our membership or you are a reader of one of our books, you can go through the wallet win method and figure out what is that next best money milestone for you
mhm,
and what does that specific goal look like. I can't tell you, but you can look at the money milestones and figure out what that is for you.
yes,
And then do as many things as you can to make it fun. Set up visual motivators.
absolutely.
We have these again inside of our membership. Debt-free charts,
Yeah.
little
Track.
saving
Yeah,
trackers.
whether it's money you're trying to pay down, let's track that and show it. If it's money we're trying to save up, let's track that and show it. If it's establishing the budget, the habit of budgeting, let's track that and
Mhm.
show it and see how many times we can make a budget, before the month the budget's for begins. Can we get all 12? What's going to happen? Anything that you can do to help motivate yourself to make something, especially that's a little bit more like invisible, right? Behaviorish. The money that's going up, right? I would recommend you keep it in a bank or a credit union, not in a giant jar next to your bed. So it's going to be a little bit harder to see. That's why it's so important to have some sort of a visual to see your progress, to have
Mm.
that list of all the little debts that you have and cross the names off. It's so motivating. It feels good. You see what's going on. You actually get to have that feeling when you scribble out the name, when you fill in the little box on the chart, whatever it might be. You have that physical feeling. You see the result of your work, and it just makes it so much more real. It helps your brain light up with rewards and all those little neurochemicals that are going to keep you going until you hit the goal. So that's super important. And, kind of a similar vein, go back through, check that progress every month and know what's going on. If you messed up, if you made a dumb purchase or you were trying to do cash envelopes and you lost one, whatever, big whoop. It's just money. You can start again the next month.
How much was in that envelope?
Well, hopefully you lost it on like the 28th. Um, but really, it is just money. So, yes, we are going to make mistakes. We are going to have some foibles. But the next month is less than a month away. Let's just start again. We're going to make a new budget anyway. We're going to start again with a new, fresh set of numbers to then go forward and make some great decisions and to see the progress and to really get closer towards whatever goal, whatever dream, whatever's going on and driving you forward in this. You're going to get closer to it.
Mhm. Bada bing, bada boom. Did you actually lose an envelope back in the day when we used to
I don't think
do
so.
cash
I don't know.
envelopes?
I'm just trying to
Was that a
think. That would be
Freudian? Was that a Freudian slip that you're admitting to me?
well, that
12 years
mortgage
later,
payment they say they didn't get.
we've never had that in
Yeah, I
cash.
know, I know.
All the grocery money.
That's why it ran out so fast, huh? That's why we only put 60 in it, hon.
All right. Well, there you have it. It's time to make 2025 a year where you take control of the money instead of
Mm,
letting it control you. That was us, 2012. That was our year.
mm,
And now this is your year. First, you have to track every dollar that comes in that God is blessing you with and shine a light on those spending habits of where has your money been going? And now you can actually see where it is going now. So you're not going to be scratching your head wondering where it went. You're going to be creating a budget that's going to work for you, not against you. It's going to be a reflection of your goals, your priorities, the things God is asking you to say yes to and prioritize. You're going to plug up those spending leaks, cancel the subscription, tackle the impulse buying by having a cooling off window. And then make sure your goals going into the new year are crystal clear and celebrate even the smallest of wins and steps or the little chart that you color in. Celebrate every little bit of a win towards them. By the end of 2025, I hope that you're going to look back and say, I know exactly where our money went this
mm.
past year. You might even have a chart. If you're using YNAB, you're going to be able to see all of it right there. That's one of my favorite things about YNAB. And that it's doing amazing things for you. That you can look at this, all the spending you did last year, and know without a shadow of a doubt that your money was working hard, that you glorified the Lord with it, and that you are a good, faithful, and honest steward. That is our hope for you.
Yes.
So if you're ready to take charge of your finances this year, I would love for you to get one of our freebies.
Yes. Head on over to walletwin.com. There you can find our Catholic guide to budgeting. We've got a couple ideas to help you, boost your income a little bit, to trim some expenses, whatever it might be. Those three things: budgeting, trimming things up, getting a little bit of extra here and there. Those are going to be helpful no matter what your goal is. So head on over, grab one of those freebies at walletwin.com. It's right on the front page. Grab those, let us know about it. You can send us an email. You can mention us or DM us even on Instagram at walletwin and let us know how it's going. Maybe we'll give you a little shout out in a future episode. So let's make 2025 the year where that money starts working for you and you see some amazing progress. Until next time, God bless.
And bye for now.
This episode was brought to you by Catholic Money Academy. You can learn more at CatholicMoneyAcademy.com.